I, female 38, married my husband Sam, male 47, 5 years ago. Sam always knew I didn't want to have children of my own. He was fine with it. He has a daughter Leah, female 25. His wife died when Leah was 10 years old and I met him when she was 15. I didn't meet her till after a year of dating. She was a sweet young adult and we got along great. I didn't move in with Sam till Leah left for college though. Leah got pregnant last year. Her boyfriend didn't want to keep the baby but she wanted to keep it. He broke up with her. Leah moved back in with us because she couldn't afford her lifestyle without him. She worked as a teacher and he was the breadwinner. I had concerns about how she was going to raise a child on a teacher's salary by herself. I suggested getting him to pay child support. She didn't want that. Sam thought I should stay out of it. Fine. But once she had the baby around 4 months back, Leah seemed to realize having a baby is not the sunshine and rainbows she thought it was. She barely got any sleep during the last 4 months. All the while, Sam was helping her with the baby, while I did almost all the chores myself. Now her leave is ending. She didn't want to leave baby at daycare or with a nanny. Sam and I both work as well. She asked if I could stay home with the baby. I said no. First, it's not my baby and I never wanted to raise a child. Second, I have work. She asked Sam, who asked me to do it instead. I refused, stating the reasons again. Sam couldn't stay home because he earned more than me and covered more bills. I asked why Leah can't stay at home with the baby herself. She said how she was young and had to build a career. I said many people take breaks to raise kids and she broke down crying about how she was so tired all the time being a mom and she needed something else in her life too. Sam feels bad for her and thinks we should help her. I suggest she pay for a nanny with her income, but Leah doesn't want strangers looking after her baby. Both of them are pressuring me to stay at home with baby so she can go to work. I'm standing firm on my decision. Leah said yesterday how she wished her mom was alive because she would have had her back. She said I didn't love her, and my husband was also mad at me. Am I the idiot for refusing to help my stepdaughter with her baby? Not the idiot. She didn't ask you to help. She asked you to pretty much give up your career and raise your step-grandchild. Explain to her that you are not refusing to help with your granddaughter, but that you need to focus on your career as well, and that you will help her come up with a plan. I can 100% guarantee you her late mother would agree with this. Also, don't take to heart what she's saying. Postpartum depression can be very difficult to cope with, and I promise she still likes you and is just dealing with a lot right now. Don't blame this on PPD. She's literally asking OP to do something she won't even do herself. To add on to this, OP should tell her husband to knock it off and stop trying to pressure her into raising his daughter's baby. If he wants a family member to look after her baby while she works, then he can do it. Or Leah can. She decided to have a baby and not get any child support. So, does Leah not love her baby since she refuses to quit her job for it? Also, I am young and have to build a career is something pretty wild to say to a 38-year-old OP who could very well become a mom as well if she chose to, which she didn't since she has no interest in a child. And it's not like OP is at the end of her work life anytime soon. She's 13 years older than her stepdaughter, for heaven's sake. Gotta be real, I would totally be biding my time and looking to exit stage left the minute that 25-year-old child was allowed to move into my home. I have a family member who married a much younger child-free woman who ended up raising my horrible cousin's child. We really thought she was going to divorce him, and honestly, she should have. OP, don't let this man and his immature daughter force you to raise a child who isn't yours, or to teach a grown woman how to be an adult for that matter. That's not what you signed up for. Update: am I the idiot for refusing to help my stepdaughter with her baby? First of all, thank you for your support. I needed it more than I realized. Your replies, advice and suggestions gave me a lot to think about. I was taking this situation independently and not really seeing the whole picture. I had some tough conversations with my husband and stepdaughter. The sad truth is he refused to see the point. He accepts I've always been true about my boundaries, but he still needs me to step up and help out more, be more understanding. I realize the fact is he sees his daughter as his baby girl and me as the adult in this situation, so he needs me to act like an adult and support the child. I tried to make him realize she is not a child. She made her own decisions and she needs to be an adult. He says I won't get how a parent would feel and he needs to be there for her. I realized his long-term plan is to keep supporting her as long as he can, and she wants it. To be frank, I sort of respect his stand. A father wanting to be there for his daughter and wanting to live for her is admirable, but that is not the life I envisioned. Loving grandmother that can babysit occasionally? Sure, but raising Leah and her baby? No. Before we decided on anything extreme, we had a talk with Leah as well, to know what her plans are. We revisited the topic of child support, and this time her dad was adamant to know why. Well, apparently the reason is Leah is still in love with him. She's scared pushing a court case and responsibility on him on a decision she made will scare him away. She's still holding on to hope he will come back. We don't think she's being realistic, but have decided to table that talk for later since Sam is anyway ready to fund the baby's life, and child support can be demanded with back pay when she decides to follow up. We offered her multiple solutions, such as lesser work hours, career change, nanny, daycare. She didn't accept any offer. She loves the school she works at and doesn't want to leave it. She claims reducing hours will impact her career trajectory, and since she wants to work, she might as well work full-time. She doesn't want to leave baby with strangers, nanny or daycare, and is refusing to hear it. She wants her baby to grow up with family, feeling loved, and she can't be at peace unless she knows one of us is with the baby. Sam is refusing to cut down hours himself since he can't afford bills himself. Let me clarify. He had refinanced this house to pay for her college education, didn't want her to have any loans. I'd suggested we downsize from this 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom one, which we can both afford. He wanted to have space for his daughter. I understood that, but I couldn't afford to pay for it. We came to an understanding I wouldn't pay for it and wouldn't have any rights to the house either. That is his biggest payment. We split the rest of the expenses proportionate to our income till Leah moved back in. She doesn't help financially. I contributed to normal day-to-day expenses, but all baby-related expenses are being met by Sam. If Sam stops working or reduces hours, he won't be able to do all these. I would take up being breadwinner, but we would have to downsize, and Leah would at least have to cover all baby-related expenses herself. Neither of them wants that. The conclusion of all discussions was the same. They needed me to stay home with the baby. Sam wouldn't be putting anything to my savings or retirement funds because he won't have funds for that. He also thinks it isn't necessary since I can go back to work when baby starts school. Long story short, I left, packed all my clothes and stuff, put everything I have in my car, and am now crashing at a friend's home. I don't have any rights to the house or own any furniture there, so leaving was easy. I've booked an appointment with my lawyer. I think this is the best decision I can take for myself. Both Sam and Leah called me a selfish idiot for leaving. I guess it will have to be this way. Funny, you're called selfish, but the 25-year-old who contributes nothing to the household and refuses to make any sacrifices for her child that her father is supporting isn't. In the meantime, he wouldn't offer anything towards your savings and didn't even have you listed on the house. He never thought much of you, apparently. These aren't great people. Glad you're leaving that dumpster fire. OP refuses to make any sacrifices for stepdaughter's child. This one really stands out. Leah refuses to take any responsibility for her own child, demanding others alter their own lives for her without at all compromising in any way. The daughter and the father are despicable. OP was married to this man and has an ultimatum: quit her job and take care of someone else's child for free or be homeless. OP, I'm so sorry, but leaving was definitely the best thing for you. Get your lawyer to go ham, and congrats on your new beginnings away from all these selfish idiots. The beauty is the dad and brat will turn on each other once they no longer have you to kick around. I, 21 male, have a girlfriend, 25 female. We've been together for 9 months and the relationship is great. I'm a very chivalrous person, opening doors, walking by the road, giving her my jacket when she's cold, taking her out on dates and such. Recently, I've noticed she picked up a habit of intentionally leaving her jacket behind and asking for mine, and not packing ballet flats when we go out. Because of this, I always give her my jacket and shoes when we go out, so I'm cold and barefooted. I would have been carrying her instead, but I have back issues, and putting any form of pressure on my back is not advised. I asked why she stopped bringing those along, and she said she can't find ballet flats, and she keeps on forgetting her jacket. To avoid this happening again, I bought her a new pair of flats and kept them in my car. It's been raining the past few days, so the weather has been colder than usual. 2 days ago, we went on a date again, and before we left, I reminded her several times to pick up a jacket in case it started raining. Just as we were about to leave, I asked her one more time to pick up a jacket and she said she had it in the car. Fast forward to after our date, and we were taking a walk when she said her heels were hurting her feet and she was feeling cold, so she wanted my jacket and shoes. Mind you, it rained a bit while we were on our date, so the grass was wet and muddy. I told her to wait for me on a bench, so I quickly grabbed her shoes and jacket from the car. She was hesitant and insisted she wanted mine, but I told her that hers was in the car, so I'll just grab it so we can both be comfortable. Turns out she had no jacket in the car. I was obviously annoyed at this point, so I called her to come to the car and that we were going home. She was mad at me and said that I was petty for ending a date because of a common jacket. I told her that wasn't the issue, that it was the fact that she lied about picking up a jacket. Yes, I would have been frustrated if it was a mistake again, but when I realized she did it on purpose, I refused to give in. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's not just about a jacket and shoes, it's more than that. Selfishness and lack of care for you, not a good basis for a relationship. If it was a one-time thing, fine, but she actually plans for you to be cold, barefoot and uncomfortable for her precious convenience. Dump this uncaring brat. Agree, she needs to grow the heck up. A jacket is one thing, on occasion, not all the time, but expecting you to go barefoot so she can wear your shoes because she's either too lazy or manipulative to bring her back up is revolting. She gets off on you sacrificing for her, and it's some pathetic, childish high school behavior. Find a girlfriend who has enough sense to bring her own jacket when it's cold or appropriate shoes for certain occasions, and get rid of this childish woman. Months ago, my son found out that he has a pre-tween child. I was very suspicious because my son is very rich, and where was this kid until now? The ex-girlfriend is broke, and why didn't she say anything before? And the girl looks nothing like my son. Am I supposed to leave the ex has his child right when she needs money? So I asked my son to get a paternity test just to be sure. All my kids, except for one, believe I was the bad guy just because I was looking out for my son. My son, who loves kids, didn't want to do it and was happy to have a child. After weeks of trying to convince him to get a test, he finally agreed, and it turned out that he is, in fact, her dad. I was very happy for him, and I thought all is well since there was no harm in taking the test and he finally knows for sure that he is the father, but ever since that test he won't talk to me, claiming I traumatized my granddaughter by forcing her to go through that. He thinks I'm an idiot. Only one of my kids is on my side and thinks I did the right thing. Edit, he thinks it was traumatizing because I said it in front of his child and made her feel unwanted. He thinks I should have talked to him privately, and while I agree that I could have done better, I think it's ridiculous that he's holding a grudge over this. I know I could have handled it differently, but I don't think I traumatized her. She's old enough to understand that. Good gracious, Mom, did you forget your whole "I will never accept her in my family if you don't take the test" speech that you said right in front of my child? He's not going to forgive you just because you were happy for him when the test came. A child isn't an object you can be cruel to, then expect all to be well afterwards. You are the idiot. Yep, OP is the idiot. She told that in front of the child. This isn't exactly something a 10-year-old is just going to forget, no matter how warm and inviting Grammy is from here out. I think any kid would have trouble not seeing that as artificial and fake, given how they were previously treated. The son's daughter will always perceive any positive behavior from OP as a mask she wears from here out. I disagree. OP's not the idiot. He was blinded by his desire to have a child. You made sure he did the right thing and protected himself. He might be mad now, but it would have been way worse if he found out the kid is not his years from now. Your job as a parent is not always to be your child's friend. Sometimes you need to make them mad at you in order to protect them from themselves. You did good. Dude, OP's son isn't mad that she advised him to get a paternity test. He's mad that she demanded it loudly and explicitly in front of his child. She told, "The girl looks nothing like my son." Gross. Whether the child is your granddaughter or not, you should be the one who pays her therapy bill for life. After all, you're the reason she'll need it. I was walking back from work when a stranger woman around my age, maybe a bit older than me, approached me and started talking about my son. I confirmed that the man she was talking about was my son, and she started telling me that my son was sleeping with her husband, and because of him she's now getting kicked out of her home, and that I'm a bad mom for raising a home wrecker. I didn't know about any of that. I only knew my son is gay, but not that he's sleeping with a married man. I asked her if she didn't get the wrong person, but she said she knows for a fact it's my son, and then she started begging me to make my son break up with her husband because otherwise she'll be left homeless. I said I can't convince my son to break up with him as he won't be listening to me, but she started insulting me and being more insistent about her demands. At that point, I threatened to call the police if she doesn't leave me. She left, but also spat at my feet and cursed me. At home, I talked with my son about it, and he confirmed that he plans to move in with that man the next week, and that I should just ignore his crazy ex. Honestly, I really don't want to get involved in this situation, especially because I know I won't be able to convince my son not to move in with this man. At least he told me that his new boyfriend will be the one to pay for his college from now on. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Sounds like your son is an adult and this is his choice. Even if you did convince your son to break the relationship off, the other man would likely find someone else, as it doesn't appear a hetero relationship is what he wants from life. Her husband is the one who cheated on her with your son, so if she's going to blame anyone, it should be her husband. Her son is also to blame, though. He's not required to take part in messing up a marriage. It's still scummy. I know people like to pretend it's 100% on the married person, but it really isn't, unless the affair partner was completely unaware of that person being married. OP, you are the idiot for raising someone who thinks it's okay to sleep with married people and break apart a marriage. Let's not forget the boyfriend is old enough to be his father and splashing around enough money at the start of the relationship that he's offering to pay for college. Sounds more likely to me that the OP's son is a young, naive person who's walking into a potentially manipulative or toxic relationship. OP, please check in with your son regularly. There's a huge power differential here, and a guy willing to cheat on his wife and unceremoniously kick her out and move his new lover in isn't a good person.